Well, are you parenting like a police officer? Chances are you are, and you just don't even know it. So in this video, I'm going to tell you if you are or you aren't and how to stop it like immediately. And I'm going to just give you this big aha moment that literally might transform your parenting. So stick around, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. And if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. I'm Brad Zude with Influencer Parenting, where we help moms, dads, families all over the world become the strongest influence in the life of their child, because the strongest influence in the life of your child wins. All right, so parenting styles, right? Everyone loves talking about what's the best parenting style? Authoritarian parenting or authoritative parenting, permissive parenting, passive parenting. And what parenting style are you? Do you even have a style? Does your parenting even fit in anywhere on the charts? Well, most people think it's about those 4 parenting styles. And I'm here to tell you that it's really only about 2 parenting styles, and it's not any one of the big 4. So let's dive in and see if you are parenting like a police officer. But before we go any further, I want to take 5 seconds and thank the sponsor of this video, Tiny Bites. These are kid-friendly, kid-safe scissors that help you cut your food into tiny little bites, and it's safe, so you don't have to use the kitchen counter scissors that are probably dirty and yucky and nasty anyway. So thank you, Tiny Bites, for sending me a bunch of those, and they work fantastic. So what does it even mean to parent like a police officer? Okay, so imagine this. You're cruising down the highway and all of a sudden a squad car pulls behind you. Uh-oh, you see flashing lights going on. Oh no, you're getting pulled over, right? You're getting a ticket for speeding. You're about to have an interaction between an officer of the law and a law-breaking citizen, right? And the police officer in his dark blue uniform and his dark blue hat and his big police officer sunglasses and mustache gets out of the car with his gold badge shining and his walkie-talkie over his shoulder, walks up to the car and says, "License and registration," right? And you are intimidated and you're like, oh my gosh, I was speeding. And he writes you a ticket and sends you on your way. Now imagine another type of interaction with the police officer, but this time it's not a uniformed police officer. It's an undercover police officer. You don't even know it's a police officer, but obviously they are, because you know what? They have the same gun and they have the same badge, but they're in street clothes like us. In fact, some of you might have even ran across one today and had no idea that you were standing next to one at the grocery store. So what's the difference between a uniformed police officer and an undercover police officer? Look, the biggest difference is the uniformed police officer leads with his gun and his badge. He wants you to know from a mile behind you with his clean white squad car and the blue flashing lights that he is an authority. What's the goal of the undercover police officer? He doesn't want you to know that he's the authority at all, but he's still there to enforce law and order. The biggest difference of the undercover police officer is that he doesn't pull out his gun or his badge unless he needs to, right? And this is really the tale of the 2 real parenting styles. Do you lead with your authority, or do you just pull out your authority only when you need to? Some of you are out there walking around leading with your authority, being like the police officer in uniform where they want everyone to know that they're in charge and you need to do what I say. And then there are those that still have that same power, that same authority given to them, but they don't lead with that because they know that it's not necessary. So what's the key difference between the uniformed officer and the undercover officer? Well, the undercover officer can penetrate deep into situations undetected, right? They can go into situations that a uniformed police officer couldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. So be honest with yourself. Have you ever really had a good time with a uniformed police officer standing right next to you ready to give you a ticket at any moment? No. And that shouldn't be our parenting style either. Yet sometimes so many of you out there are standing there like that police officer, and it just makes for a very, very unpleasant experience. And this is one of the foundational principles of influencer parenting, is becoming the strongest influence in the life of your child. And look, A lot of times it involves going very deep into your child's life, and your child doesn't want to let a uniformed police officer in. Reminder, same gun, same badge. You don't sacrifice your morals or your integrity. You just don't lead with the fact that you're ready to give them a ticket and get them in trouble at any moment. So listen, your child gets hit with over 4,000 advertising messages per day crafted by billion-dollar companies who hire million-dollar marketers to target their heart, their mind, their thinking, their morality, and their worldview. And listen, you can't afford to parent like a police officer because you will absolutely have no chance at influencing the life of your child. See, when it's all said and done and you can't ground them and you can't take away the car keys and you can't put them in timeout, you're going to be left with one thing, and that is your influence, right? And we want to start that as early on in your parenting as possible. So listen, I know when your child is doing something wrong, we want to get like right to the answer and cut right to it. And obviously there are times where we need to do those things, but take a deep breath and speak with your child and talk with them and encourage them and train them on what you want to have happen. And then you know what? At the end of all that, you still write them a ticket, right? There's still consequences for their behavior, but just slow down and take the time to encourage your children and have some patience and remember what it was like being 4 years old or 14 years old or whatever age your child is. It's hard. You know what? And at the end of the day, they're just someone like you on this blue and green ball that God created, trying to make their way through. And they desperately want someone to take a little bit extra time to show them how to do it. Don't forget to subscribe by tapping my face below. And if you want to know more about parenting styles, you can watch the video right below me here. And we'll see you on the next one.